And we're with the Rachelle. Rachelle, welcome back.
Hi, I just couldn't stay away. Had to come back and see you again.
Excellent. I love seeing your beautiful face. What are you going to talk to us about today?
Okay, so I have been doing a lot of coaching with my enterprise members. I'm an onboarding specialist. I work with them for their first 90 days of their enterprise account. I've been having a lot of conversations with them about how to customize your campaigns based on a bunch of different things. And I've been talking to so many people about it that I wanted to come on and I wanted to share some of that knowledge with everyone.
Love it. This is going to be gold nuggets. So take out your pen and paper and let's get started. Rachelle, go ahead, dive us in.
Okay, so I have to say a couple things first. First of all, a lot of what I'm going to be talking about is setting up campaigns. So if you don't have that add-on, I suggest you really look into it. It is hugely valuable because instead of just repeating the same template or instead of manually going in to put out different templates at different time periods, campaigns within DealMachine does that for you. You set up your campaigns early, you space out when you want them to send out, and it's automatic. So a lot of what I'm talking about is this idea of writing a conversation that you're sending to the owner. And you can probably do that with regular campaigns. It's just regular templates. It's just going to take you more time. It's going to have to be manual. You're going to have to be really organized and really good about the follow-up. So consider thinking about adding campaigns onto your account. It's 100% worth it. I'm also going to say, don't be afraid to try some things. You know, it takes time to scale your business. You're not in this just for a month and you're out. This is something you're going to need to work towards for a while. You're going to need to build up your business. So don't be afraid to try stuff out. So what's also really important when you're doing multiple mailers, maybe multiple campaigns, is data. It's tracking what is working for you. There's a lot of ways you can do this, even as simple as whenever someone gives you a call, open that lead and make a note on your DealMachine account in the CRM, on the lead, in the notes, make a note to say when they called you. It could honestly be as simple as you asking them as well. If you have a conversation with them, never be afraid to ask them, hey, what was it about my mailer that you wanted to give me a call? What brought you to me? Gather that data. I mean, there's so many ways that you can even use a service that puts a different phone number on each mailer that you're sending out. So it tracks exactly when they're calling you. Consider any ways early on that you can be tracking when people are calling you and use that data. It is okay to try a couple things out. It's okay to do a test campaign in a certain area, track those numbers, see when it works, and then come back in a couple months, come back in 6 months, look at the data that you've accumulated and figure out what is working best for you. Don't spend money on 10 mailers if you're figuring out they're calling you on the 3rd. Or if they're calling you on the 7th, move the 7th to be the first one. There must be something about that mailer that are getting people to call you. So use data, test a couple things out. As you build up that knowledge and as you build up what works specifically in your market, that's going to save you money and it's going to save you time down the road to figure out where you need to be focusing on and where you need to focus your budget on. So before we're talking about campaign types, before we're talking about verbiages, campaigns are the best way to do it. And you need to be organized about this because the more organized you are now, the more time and money that you're going to save later. And you're going to need that time and money to answer calls, to reach out, to text people, and to go set those appointments and sign those contracts. So we're talking about campaign types. We're talking about how you can use your campaigns to specifically have very intentional conversations with owners. And that's how I phrase it. I phrase it as a conversation. If you're sending 3 different mailers, don't use the same words on all 3 mailers. Make it a conversation. Introduce yourself. Talk about who you are. You want to buy their house. You're hoping that they'll talk to you. Have it be a conversation as opposed to the same boilerplate verbiage every single time. And all you did was change a color. So mix it up across the board, but consider the fact that they're going to be getting these. It's like a story. So for your different campaigns, you can mix up verbiages a lot based on a lot of different factors. So first one, pretty common, owner types. it is really easy to have a different campaign for each owner type, because consider how different those conversations are. You're not going to speak to a corporate owner the same way that you're going to speak to an owner-occupied property. You can even mix up what you're saying to absentee versus to owner-occupied. They have two very different, emotional stakes in that house. If that's not their primary residence and they're renting it out, or it's where they've lived for 50 years and they're just trying to figure out, what their next step is. They can't take care of this house anymore. Or you might see that a property is owned by a trust. Consider the difference in a conversation to a property that may have been from a family member that someone's trying to figure out what to do with. The difference of that conversation to that corporate owner type, to a corporate owner that is a wholesaler that has 20 other properties in the area. Mix up that verbiage and make yourself a campaign for each one of those. It's pretty simple. Your drivers will go on the road, you sit down on your computer to qualify the leads, you filter based on owner type, select, send mailers. It is adding mere seconds onto what you might already do, but the outcome is going to be so different. That's pretty common though. A lot of people know about that one. Let's talk about other things that you can do though. Think about the different conversations that you could have based on how distressed the house is. Your boilerplate may say, we'll buy it as is, no work needed, that kind of thing. For a house that's not that distressed, they're not that worried. They know that you'll take it as is. It looks nice. It's fine. But think about if that house is extremely distressed. You're really wanting to show them that you will take it as is. So consider how your drivers or you can use tags to indicate to yourself later how, what the level of distress is on that house, how much deferred maintenance is on there, how bad does it look. The easiest way of doing that is taking good pictures and adding tags. If you are filtering through your leads and maybe you added a tag that is, most distressed, absolutely awful. We don't see your tags. We don't know what you guys are putting on there. Super ugly, you can filter by those tags and you can have your super ugly campaign, your moderately ugly campaign, or your, good potential for a quick flip to be a rental. Think about the different words you can use to reassure the owner of an extremely distressed house. You are willing to take it as it is. That doesn't need to be the same conversation as a house that doesn't look that bad. Something else too, think about the geographic area, think about the neighborhood, think about what you can say in certain areas to have that very specific conversation with the owner. Are you looking for college rentals in a college town? Do you live in that area? Do you live in the neighborhood? If you live in the neighborhood, you can say, hey, I'm your neighbor a couple roads down. I'm looking to get other properties in this area that I love. You can't say that to a market that you're not living in, but you can be very specific to the market that you're in to let them know that you are trustworthy. They can invite you into their house. You're their neighbor. That shows a very different face than anything that, any of the big corporate guys that are just blasting out the same postcard to everyone. You're going to stand out at that point because you're letting them know you're in their town, you're in their area. And it can, again, you can be creative on this, mixing it up. Are you in a college area? Say something about the football team. You can mix this up however you want. And you can be extremely personable about it. I was recently talking to a client and he was a firefighter. So he does real estate on the side. And we told him, it's okay to drop something like, I live in your area. I'm a public servant in this town. I'd love to, help with the real estate in the area. I'd love to meet you, talk to you about your house. It's okay to use that kind of stuff to be personable in these campaigns, and doing it by area is a great way of doing it. Another one also, and this is something that is, extremely necessary, that you're going to need to have good communication with your drivers, good pictures, good tags. Consider looking at a property and making an assumption about the owner and going with a gut reaction on what might work for them. And my best example is you might be able to identify houses that might have older owners. We've all seen them, the metal awnings, and the like old car out front and the lace curtains in the window. It's not a house that has kids' toys strewn across the yard. Think about that kind of stuff. Think about considering a mailer with a bigger font type. Think about considering a mailer, just think about the verbiage you can mix up, taking a guess at the owner type. And as well, this is one of my favorites. Shout out to Jack. He knows who he is. He's the one that gave me this idea. Think about different campaigns also for time of the year. Jack put together a campaign he sent out around Thanksgiving. He put together a follow-up campaign he sent around New Year's. Think about that different conversation going into a new year. You guys are gonna have to wait 11 months to get back around to it, but think about the conversation you're having with an owner in the new year. You're stepping into a new year. Is this house weighing you down? You're taking a look at your finances for the years. Do you not want to deal with taxes on this property next year? Think about a tax time mailer. I was even joking. I was saying, send out a mailer around summer with any property with a big yard and say, do you really want to mow this yard all summer? Ooh. Consider selling this house. I'll handle it. Think about how seasonality can affect the conversation that you're having with an owner. And that's a really great way to do a year-long drip campaign. Maybe you hit them really hard at the beginning of the year and they don't answer, or they say they're not interested. On a campaign, you can set out mailers 90 days later. You can set out a mailer 100 days later. Hit them in the summertime about mowing. Hit them on Thanksgiving, saying, be grateful for what you have. How can you get to a place where you feel more financially free, that this home isn't dragging you down? Send them a mailer at Christmas. There's a lot of ways that time of the year can be a very different conversation that you're having with the owners. And, across the board, I think the best suggestions in general about campaigns or templates in general, mailers in general, be personable. Show them who you are, show them that you're wanting to work with them, show them that you're trustworthy enough to be invited into your house, but also stay on brand. If you're mixing up templates in a campaign, mix them up. Absolutely. Try different templates, try different things, but have something that is a common thread. Whether it is maybe your picture is the same, maybe your colors are branded on your business. Maybe you use the same template, but you change the colors, you change the pictures, you change the verbiage. You want them to open that mailbox and pull out your postcard and read it. And they're not going to read it if they've gotten the same postcard 7 times. They know what it looks like on site, they throw it out. But if they take that 1 second to be like, oh, this is different, they'll turn it over, they'll see it's still you, but you're going to actually get eyes on it. So in every campaign I've talked about, consider at least 3 postcards or more, but mix them up while still keeping just a thread of who you are through all of them. What do you think, Elise?
I love it. I love it so much. The thing that kind of blew my mind is it's so creative when you say it's a seasonal campaign. And I love the yard one. That one kind of blew my mind because I've never heard that before. But it's like, do you want to mow this yard? You're going to people know that they're going to get code violations if they, don't mow their lawn and the city has to mow it for them. They're going to get slapped with a 200, fine.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about creativity, and it's fine if you're not that creative person, but you probably have people in your network that are. So hit up your family, hit up your teenagers, hit up your friends, present to them what you're trying to go for. And honestly, if you can find someone in that target market, ask them. If you're trying to target houses that you have maybe a tag that says probably old couple, consider going to find someone in your life and show them a postcard and say, can you read this? What do you think of this? Does this feel weird to you? Reach out to your personal network. If you're not the creative type, I guarantee you know someone who is. Or if you're an enterprise member, your onboarding specialists, your customer success managers, we're here to work with you too. We can point out some gems, we can give you some samples, give you an idea of what you can do. But it's creativity. It's being intentional. It's taking the time to think about your goal and working towards it. and using your campaigns to be an extension of the conversation you're already going to have with the owner when you get them on the phone.
Yeah, I think the most daunting thing, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like the daunting thing about campaigns is that it does take time to like make a intentional campaign, because you have to do the templates, you have to do the design, the wording, like, and that's really uncomfortable for a lot of people. And so it's just like, well, I'll just keep, and keeping what we put on there is totally fine. But my thinking is, if I'm paying money for a postcard that's representing, and I want it to have the best chance that it possibly can to get me a callback, like taking an hour or two to really make sure that you're customizing it, like Rachelle's saying, like that is going to put you above your competition in that area. But it's also going to get you faster to helping someone. And I think Rachelle's touched on a big thing where it's like, think of the pain point. Like you don't even have to be eloquently worded. I've heard from members before, write it like you're writing a letter to your friend, and you find that pain point, put it in that, Rachelle talked about that bold lettering. We have that in a lot of the postcards. Figure out what line you think will hit that pain point for them, that they can relate to and think, oh, someone actually wants to help me with this issue, and it's something that's going to resonate with them. And I love that, where it's just like, do you want to mow this yard? Like I could see someone being like, wait, what? And they probably would think at first you're like a mowing company, but instead it's like, but that also brings it up to be like, well, I mean, how many people tell you that they get a call from someone and maybe it's not that house they want to sell, but they have another one that they want to, like, I don't know how, I can't even keep track of how many times that's happened. So like Rachelle said, it's like, if you send the same one over and over, yes, there probably is a time that someone will pick it up. We've heard that before, but it's easy. And I think everyone can relate to this. If you see the same thing over and over again, and you're not like, you're going to toss it out before you even read it. Like, don't change it up. It's so simple. Rachelle's giving you the tools of like how to do it. It takes time, and time is precious, but money's also precious too. And if you're just, putting it out there, like Rachelle said, if the seventh one works, put it up front. Save you money on, waiting until the seventh postcard hits if your seventh one is performing better. Like you dropped like a ton of gems right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're gonna do it right. And if that means taking a couple days to get it right, any work that you do, you're gonna do the same amount of work probably across the board, but do the work first and then let a good machine roll out, instead of doing a little bit of work and then a month later, okay, oh, I did this wrong. And then a month later, oh, I did this wrong. You need to do something now that's going to work for the next couple months, because sometimes you don't hear for a couple months. So, I mean, obviously be open, like I said, to testing things out, to gathering data, but you need to make sure that you're putting out a good product. And then at that point, it's just testing which of those steps was most effective. So take the time to do the process right in the beginning, and then let it roll out. And then that you're not going to be worried about it every day. That if you're sending out 1,000 mailers and you're at the enterprise price of 49 cents, you're spending $500, those are a good $500 that you're spending. You're not going to have to spend $500 again and again and again and again to keep reaching them. You want it to be good as soon as possible. And hey, a little time at the beginning saves you way more time at the end.
Amen. Gets you those deals faster. And just so everyone knows, I will link in the description below how to like set up campaigns, what our enterprise plans do include. Just so if you are interested in doing an onboarding with the wonderful Rachelle or Jim, then you can have this one-on-one interaction with them, and they'd be able to talk you through just even your own personal markets and what you're looking to get. Because not everyone's investing in the same thing. So really getting these personalized experiences. So thank you, Rachelle.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really the fun part about being in onboarding and getting to talk to enterprise clients, is finding what is going to work for them and helping them be the best possible. So this is the kind of coaching I do a lot. And I had this conversation so many times. I told Elise that I kind of wanted to share it out. But you know, if calling works really well for you, I'm going to talk to you about how to call best. If texting really works for you, I'll talk to you about how to text best. And, you know, adding different steps in of how to make mailers work with texting, how to make calling follow up on a mailer, how to send a call, a text, and hit them with a mailer right after. You know, the kind of information that we gather up to share is crazy. I have someone that sends our ballpoint letters as a thank you after he talks to someone at an appointment, because the ballpoint letters, they're out, you know, out in the mail basically within like 24 hours. So think about how instead of you finding a card and writing a letter and finding a stamp and getting it out, send a campaign, send a template, send a ballpoint letter as a thank you after you talk to someone. We make it so quick and easy that just the possibilities are endless with our mailers, with our campaigns. There are ways you can even talk to people that's not just a, hey, I want to buy your house. Mail a corporate owner and ask them if they're looking for more properties like this. You're adding to your buyers list through a mailer. You know, be creative.
Oh, we're definitely doing a video about that thank you campaign. That is brilliant. I love that. Why not do that? It's so much, and like my hang up with mailers is that like, and this sounds really just like plain lazy, but like getting to the post office and sending it out. Like it's a 10 minutes in the opposite direction of anything that I go to on a regular basis. And yes, I could drop it off in my mailbox, but my mailman doesn't pick up any of those. So it's having that to where you can just press a button and be like, because you can just filter it by deal 1 and then say within the last 24 hours or whatever, and then send it out. Like that's so brilliant. We'll definitely be having a video about that. That's brilliant.
And communicate with your drivers. Have a tag that is high priority. And either when you're driving, sit in front of the house, put it on with marketing, send that mailer, get those out, get it in their mailbox. Because we get it out to our mail house, it is basically printed and sent within 24 hours. Think about how quickly you can use DealMachine to get up in front of someone and talk to them. And you know what? If you have drivers that you trust, give them the power to find the high priority ones and have them send a mailer on site so that it's not waiting until you're you're qualifying the leads a couple days down the line. We can do speed. So add speed and add creativity, and you're starting those conversations so fast.
Guys, we'd love to hear from you. Please leave a comment below if you have any questions for Rachelle or us as DealMachine in itself. We'd love to hear from you guys, or just let us know what you thought of this video and what others you might like to see on this channel. But again, thank you, Rachelle, for being with us. I'm so excited for more videos to do together.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm definitely going to be back. And hey, I'm in our Facebook community group now too. So you can always ask questions in the community group. I'm in the enterprise and the regular one. We're there to answer questions and help you out. So join our community groups, watch our other videos, find us on Instagram. You're going to be seeing a lot of us around.